guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Fayy Lenee back with another video. And for today's video, I have got a review for you guys. And girl, if you can't already tell by this face that is snatched, it's gonna be a good one. So for today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the new Anastasia Riviera eyeshadow palette. This is what it looks like on the inside. Lots of color, lots of just exciting new things coming from Anastasia. I don't think that I've ever seen them come out with a palette like this. So definitely very different, you know, just a whole new vibe coming from Anastasia with this palette. And then I did also pick up one of their highlighters. I got mine in the shade So Hollywood, so I will be demoing that for you guys in this video as well. I'm not going to waste too much time with this intro because I want to get into this look, honey, and then also, of course, let you guys know my final thoughts and opinions at the end about how the shadows applied, how they blended, all of that good stuff. So before we get started, if you are new to my channel, definitely be sure to subscribe down below. I would love to have you as part of my fam here on YouTube, and if you have not already, definitely be sure to turn on your post notifications so that you will be notified each and every time that I upload a new video. If you enjoy reviews or makeup tutorials or colorful looks, something different on my channel, be sure to give this one a big thumbs up. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the review. Okay guys, so we are jumping straight into the eye look today. I think I might do a talk through this portion and then do maybe a voiceover for the face portion so I can give you guys a full tutorial. I haven't fully decided how I'm going to do that, but we're going to do a talk through portion for this part so I can give you guys my reactions to the shadows. So this is what the palette looks like. You guys have probably already seen it by now. This palette is gorgeous. Honestly, I don't think I've been excited about an Anastasia palette for a hot minute until this one. All of these colors just make me so excited to just play and see what I come up with. So I'm leaning more towards the pinks, the purples, even this blue shade right here. So I don't know, we're gonna see what I come up with, but I'm gonna start off, I think, with the shade Coastline, which is the shade right here. I think this would give me like a really nice kind of transition shade for the crease. So I'm gonna pick that up on a fluffy blending brush and just buff that throughout my entire crease. Okay, so that gave me a nice, smooth kind of base of a transition. It's more of like a pinky or peachy toned shade, but I think once I layer all the other colors on top, it'll look really good. Also, I forgot to mention I did prime my eyes before I started the tutorial. I just used a concealer and set it with a loose setting powder. So any concealer that you have in your collection, any loose setting powder that you have, I just applied that all over the lid and set it just to give me a nice, smooth base to work with. So next up, I'm going to go in with the shade Monte Carlo, which is this shade right here. And I'm basically going to apply that in the crease pretty much right on top of the shade that we just applied, but just a little bit lower. And I'm just building up the colors so that when I get to the deeper shades, there will be a really nice transition in the crease. I'm also going to use a different brush for this because since we are playing with a lot of color, I don't want to mix my brushes just in case I need to go back to a color later or blend something out later. I don't want to have pigment from other shades on my other brushes, so I'm going to use different brushes for every shade. This brush that I'm using for the Monte Carlo shade is a little bit more of a tapered blending brush. So now that I have that color applied, I'm just going to go back in with my original blending brush and I'm just going to buff over the transition between those two shades. This brush doesn't have any additional product on it. I'm just buffing right over where those two shades meet each other just to make sure there's a nice smooth transition. Okay, so next up I'm going in with the shade Bahamas, which is this hot pink shade right here. And I'm going to apply that directly in the crease and in the outer V. And I'm really going to build up this color because this is going to be pretty much the star of the show for this look, I think. So I'm going to apply this in the crease right below those other shades that I just applied and then really build it up in the outer V. Okay, so this is what we're looking like so far on the eyes. And I'm trying not to make myself nervous because, you know, there's like always that awkward stage when you're doing your makeup where it's like, oh girl, is this gonna come together or nah? So I'm just gonna keep going. But the colors are blending beautifully. Like this pink is super pigmented and it literally looks exactly the same color as it does in the palette. The shades are very true to color. Like, look at that. It looks like literally the exact same shade. So I'm gonna go back in with the lighter shade, the lighter pink Monte Carlo, and the same brush that I used to apply it in the beginning. And every time that I dip into the color, I am tapping off the excess because I don't want to go in with too much pigment. I want to be able to build it up and move it around and blend it out and not like overwhelm myself with too much product on the eye and then trying to fix it. So I am going in with a little bit at a time and then just taking my time and blending it out. But I'm going to go back in with the shade Monte Carlo and just use that to blend out the crease. And actually, now that I'm going in with this shade, I probably could have honestly just went in with no additional product on this brush, but it's all good. We're just gonna buff and blend that out. Then I'm gonna go back in with the original brush and just go over that brow bone area once again. And whatever little bit of product is still on here from that peachy shade will kind of help to blend all of this together. Okay, so next up, I think I want to cut my crease before I go in with the shimmer. So I'm just going to use a concealer. I'm using this Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer in the shade Sand. This is the same concealer that I use to prep my eyelids. And I'm just going to go in and cut my crease. Okay, so now our creases are cut. And I'm going to go in with a shimmer. I'm going in with the shade Palermo, I don't know, this shimmery pink shade right here, and I'm just going to apply that all across the lid right on top of that concealer that I just applied. Okay, so the pink shadow is on, and I didn't use any Fix Plus or anything, and this is just the shadow in all of its glory. So this is what we're looking like so far. I think I want to give the pink a little something extra. So I think I'm going to go in with this gold right here called Inheritance. And I tested this on my hand first just to make sure I wasn't about to ruin this whole situation. But I'm just going to go in with my finger and pick up a little bit of that shade and lightly tap it over the pink just to give it a little bit of dimension and separate it from the hot pink that we have on the outer V. Okay, so next I think I want to do a smoky liner situation on my upper lash line. So I'm going to, I think, attempt to do that. Hopefully it comes out pretty good. So I'm going to take this L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Eye Pencil. I have it in the shade gray, not black, because I don't think I'm prepared for the black, but I am going to smoke it out with a black shadow. So I figure if I go in with a gray liner, if I make any mistakes, I can kind of correct it with the black shadow when I go in with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that across my entire upper lash line. And I'm not worried too much about being super precise with this, just because I am going to go in and buff it out, but just trying to get it right up on my lashes. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in first with this little small kind of blending brush. This is the Morphe E36, and I'm gonna use this first to start buffing out that line. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm gonna use the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill JH39 brush. It's a little bit more of a stiffer kind of like pencil brush, and I'm gonna use that to start buffing out the line. So next up, I'm going in with this flat shader brush. Any flat shader brush that you have will work just fine. And I'm gonna go in with a black shadow. I'm using this one right here. It's by Makeup Geek in the shade Corrupt. And this is the large Morphe magnetic palette. And I just have a bunch of eyeshadows in here from like Makeup Geek and ColourPop. I just put them all in this little palette. So I'm taking that black shade and I'm gonna use that to start to further smoke out that line, and then kind of also start to create a smoky wing as well. And then I think for the wing, I'm actually going to switch back to this little pointed brush and use that to kind of buff it out. And the great thing about this is you don't have to be super precise because it's supposed to look smoky and a little bit messy. So, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's supposed to look smoky. but I just try to get both eyes as even as possible. So this is what we're looking like so far, and I did go ahead and clean up the edges a little with some concealer, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply my lashes, and then I'll be back to finish up the lower lash line. All right guys, so I am back. We got the face on, we got the lashes on. I'm wearing Lily lashes. Where's the box? Here it is. Lily lashes by Sephora, and these are in the style Miami. So that's what I have on my eyes for my lashes. And yes, the lashes really took this look where I was trying to go with it. I was a little worried about it for a minute, but the lashes always take the look to the next level. So we're gonna go ahead and finish up the eyes, and I'm actually going to do, I think, a little bit of purple on the bottom lash line. So I have this this eye pencil right here. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Longwear eye pencil in the shade Purple Violet. It looks like this. So I'm going to apply this on my lower lash line, and then I'm gonna go in and buff it out with one of the shades from the palette. Okay, so we got the purple in the waterline, and now I'm gonna go in with the shade Canes, which is this purple right here, this matte shade. And I'm going to apply that also on the lower. Actually, I think before I do that, I'm gonna go in with the shade Monte Carlo. And I'm just going to apply that similar to how we did on the lid as like a transition on the bottom lash line. Then I'm gonna layer the colors on top of that. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in with a slightly smaller brush, and I'm going to take the shade Bahamas, which is the hot pink matte shade, and I'm gonna apply that a little bit closer to the lash line. Okay, and now that I have the color laid down, I'm gonna go back in with the original brush, no additional product, and just blend it out. Now we're gonna go in with the purple, so this shade right here, Canes. And I'm just taking the same flat definer brush that I used to apply the black. I just wiped it off, and I'm going to use this brush to apply that purple right up against my lower lash line. So next up for the inner corner, I think I want to do a little pop of color. So I'm going to go in with this beautiful blue right here. If this does not remind you of summer, then I don't know what does. This literally looks like ocean blue. That's what it reminds me of, but I'm gonna go in with this shade right here and pop that on the inner corner. Something a little bit different from my typical, you know, basic inner corner highlight. I really wanted to use that color, so we're gonna use that in the inner corner, and I'm gonna use this Morphe x Jaclyn Hill JH42 brush. Nice little small brush to apply the color. Okay, so I am low-key living for the blue. It looks so good. And actually, I think I wanna go in with a little bit of this white right here, not too much. I'm gonna use the same brush, just flip it on the other side, and just pop that like right on the innermost corner, just to make it pop. Ooh, that white is pigmented. I'm gonna dust some of that off because I don't want a lot of it. I'm just gonna pop it right on the innermost corner, just to make it pop just a little bit more. So before we move on to lips, I wanted to quickly show you guys the highlighter. So along with this collection, or along with the palette, she did also come out with some new loose highlighters. There are 3 different shades. I don't remember what all the shades are. I think there's like a silver, a gold, and then like a more deeper bronzy rose gold shade. I decided to get the gold one. This one is in the shade, what shade is this? Okay, this one is in the shade So Hollywood. So the shade is not on the box for some reason, but it is on the packaging. So look at this packaging first of all. Gorgeous, absolutely stunning. And then like I said, it is a loose highlighter, and I got mine in the shade So Hollywood. Now I will say that the one after this, it's a little bit darker, a little bit deeper. It's more of like a bronzy rose gold. It is beautiful, okay, absolutely stunning, but I ended up not picking it up because I felt like it would be a little bit too dark for me. But honestly, I might go back and pick it up anyway and just use it as like, I don't know, an eyeshadow or a body shimmer or I could even use it as a highlight and just top it with one that is a little bit lighter. But when I swatched it on my hand, I could tell that it would be a little bit too dark for me to highlight with, but it was beautiful. But like I said, this is a loose highlighter, so this is what it looks like on the inside. You just have those little holes to get the product out. So I'm just gonna put the top on this. I wish it had like a way to close it so that it doesn't get everywhere, because these can tend to be a little bit messy. But I just literally flipped it one time and we're just gonna see what came out. I don't want it to get too, oh, that's not enough. So let's do a little 2-tap and see. I don't want to like underestimate how pigmented this is gonna be. So I probably shouldn't do too much. But I'm also going to use my Anastasia A23 brush to highlight with as well. Okay, so we got a little bit more out. Like I said, I didn't do too much. So this is what we're looking like, because I don't want it to get too crazy. And I'm just going to dip my brush in there and get a good amount of product, like evenly coated on the brush, so that it'll apply evenly to the face, and then just tap off the excess. And I'm using the cap, by the way. I'm not dipping directly into the container. And we're gonna go ahead and apply this to our face. Woo, wow. Now I don't know that this, well, I guess it kind of complements the gold that I have on my eyelid. Whoa. Girl. I was not prepared. Okay, this could get out of hand real quick. So I'm actually gonna wipe off my brush and just kind of blend out what I've already put down, because, girl. Wow, this is beautiful. It literally just melts right into the skin. It doesn't even, like, it doesn't look like it's sitting on top of your skin. It just melts. And I already know when I apply my Morphe setting spray on top of this, it's gonna be everything. But look at that. That is beautiful. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to, I mean, are y'all seeing this? I'm definitely gonna have to go back and get the other shade, because yes, this is giving me all the life right now. Wow. Okay, so I think I definitely blended this side better than this side. I think I just went a little ham on this side compared to this side. This side looks more just blended out. So I'm gonna try to like diffuse this side a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna go over it with my blush brush. That'll probably help. Yeah, that is gorgeous. So I'm definitely going back to the store tomorrow and getting the other one, because I mean, the girl, when I went to pick up this one, she told me in the store that these apply to the skin like butter. But honestly, this is like a whole nother level. I mean, look at my face. All right, guys, so I'm back. This is the finished look, and honestly, I'm shook. I can't even lie. I am legit shook. Like, Anastasia and Norvina literally came through and gave the girls what we didn't even know we wanted, okay? This colorful palette is everything and more. I absolutely love the way that this look came out, and you guys already know this is way out of my comfort zone. I am more of a neutral, warm-toned girl, and I tried something different with this palette, playing with color. And honestly, I feel like this palette inspired me to want to play with color, to want to do something different, to want to step out of the box. And I feel like that's what makeup should do. Makeup should spark creativity. It should make you excited about using it, and that is exactly what this palette did. It's been a hot minute since I have been excited about an eyeshadow palette from Anastasia, because honestly, like, Sultry palette wasn't really doing it for me. Subculture wasn't really doing it for me. It's just been a minute since I've like genuinely been excited about something fresh, something new, and like just something different from Anastasia, and they did it with this palette. So the palette itself retails for $45. I love the packaging. It kind of has that like almost canvasy like beach bag texture to it, which I think is so cute, and I'm sure was very intentional in the design of this palette. And on the inside, of course, as you guys have already seen, you get a whole row of shimmer, except for this white one. This is a matte white, but the rest of these, you get a row of shimmer and then a row of mattes. And you guys saw with the shadows that I used how well they blended, how well they applied, how pigmented they were. And I will say that the mattes and the shimmers both had a little bit of kick up, not really much fallout on my face, but they did have a little bit of kick up in the actual palette. But honestly, it was nothing to really make a big deal about. I went in very light-handed with these shadows because I've seen other reviews, I've seen, you know, other people talking and chatting about this palette, and so I knew that the shadows were going to be super pigmented. So since I did dip in very lightly and wasn't like going crazy and swirling the brush in the shadows, I didn't really have very much of an issue with that at all. I tapped my brush in the shadows, I did not swirl, and I didn't have a ton of kick up, just, you know, what you typically would expect from an eyeshadow that's going to give you pigment that looks like this. So I will definitely be doing more looks with this palette. I want to dip a lot more into the purple. I want to dip into this like shimmery bluish ocean blue purple color right here. This palette is just beautiful, and there's so many shades that I want to use and try, and I just feel like there's so many looks that I could create with this palette. They killed it. And also the highlighter, girl, you guys saw when I applied it, I was not prepared for what I was about to get on my face. You guys can see, I mean, the glow is popping. The highlighter itself retails for $25, and like I said, there are 3 different shades. There's like a silvery one, this gold one, and then more of like a bronzy rose gold shade. I will definitely be going back and picking up the more bronzy rose gold shade because I was so impressed with this one, and I figure I can figure out a way to make the other one work because I do remember it was so beautiful when I swatched it. It was literally like a bronzy rose gold base, but then it had these like reflex of gold and rose and pink shimmer. It was literally the most beautiful highlighter I have ever seen, and I'm not even exaggerating. It was stunning. So yes, all in all, I'm very impressed with these products. They get 2 thumbs up from me. I think they did a bomb AF job with the palette and with the highlighter. They killed it. Like, they really snapped on this one, and I'm so happy that they just came out with something new and fresh and something exciting, something that makes me want to play with it, that makes me want to film videos, that makes me want to create looks. I'm just like so inspired by this palette. So if you have been on the fence about picking it up, or if you've been interested about it, hopefully this video was helpful to you. Hopefully it kind of helped you to decide whether or not it is a palette that you want to pick up or something that would interest you. I do think that it is good to have at least one solid colorful palette in your collection. I personally can't say that I have one, I don't think, but now I definitely do with this one. So yeah, I think that is pretty much all that I have to share with you guys for this video. Otherwise, I know I'll start talking in circles and saying the same thing over and over again. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing me create this look and just play around with color. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and let me know down below if you want to see more looks with this palette, what colors in the palette you would like to see me create a look with. And if you just enjoyed seeing something different on my channel, definitely let me know that down below in the comments so that I can know to try to get more creative and be outside of my comfort zone and do some more different looks for you guys in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you very soon in my next one.